With all the weapon balancing made to Warzone, it can be difficult to remember which attachments to use, as well as making sure you're along for the ride with each new meta. Hey everyone, and welcome to Call of Duty ProGuides, where we discuss all things COD and make sure you're kept in the loop with all the changes and updates, as well as give you tips and tricks on how to up your game. My name's Scatter, and today we're going to break down some weapon classes for the new Warzone meta. First things first, we have to talk about tactical rifles, and especially the AUG. This weapon has been a staple in the Warzone meta over the past couple weeks, and it seems like it's going to stay that way. Even though the recoil was increased, it still remains one of the strongest tactical rifles in the game. Although after this adjustment, you might want to make some changes to your playstyle as well as your AUG setup. Due to the recoil increase, here's the class we recommend you use. The first attachment is going to be the Agency Silencer. This may have already been on your class, but it's going to help counteract the recent increase in recoil. And we all know the Agency Silencer is one of the best muzzles to use simply because of all the pros. It will benefit your effective damage range, bullet velocity, and will make sure you're off the radar the entire time. Your second attachment is where you might start to question things, but let me explain. We're going to be using the 17-inch titanium barrel. This may seem odd because you might lean towards the 19.8 Task Force barrel or the 18.2 Strike Team. However, since the recoil has been increased, it isn't going to be as easy to control at those longer ranges. In the past, you could pretty much replace a sniper with the AUG, which is what made it such a powerful weapon because it held both the AR and sniper slot in the Warzone meta. After the nerf, we're looking at this weapon as a medium-range solution. With the 17-inch titanium barrel, you'll be getting the fastest fire rate, so you can take out your opponent faster than they can get to cover. For the other attachments, you should be using the Axial Arms 3x scope because it'll make it easier to see at those medium-range fights, and it's one of the best all-around scopes for any tactical rifle you're using. Along with this, make sure you use the Field Agent foregrip because it is now a necessity due to the recoil increase. Lastly, we're going to be putting on the 45-round drum mag to make sure you have those extra bullets to take out the whole team without having to reload. Before we move on to the next weapon, let's talk about how to take your gameplay to the next level. At ProGuides, we have coaches that can do just that, so use the link in the description or head over to ProGuides.com to elevate your game. If you don't think the AUG is going to cut it anymore, but you really love those burst weapons, then the M16 is going to be your best friend. It's just as powerful and even has better recoil. If you want to try out the weapon, here's the class to use. Starting us off again is the Agency Silencer for your first attachment, and for your second, we're going to be using the 15.9-inch Strike Team barrel. Since this weapon has lower recoil, it can still keep up a bit at those longer range gunfights. With this barrel, you'll get the second highest fire rate, so you can still shoot a bit faster than normal. The rest of the loadout is going to be the same as the AUG, using the Axial Arms 3x scope, Field Agent foregrip, and the 45-round mag. Moving on to the assault rifle category, we are beginning with one of my personal favorites, the M4A1. If you have a hard time aiming or just can't get control of your recoil, this is the class for you. The combination of attachments makes it one of the steadiest guns in Warzone. First, throw on the monolithic suppressor to get that extra damage range and sound suppression. Pair this with the stock M16 Grenadier barrel to get even more damage range, bullet velocity, and even recoil control. If you stop creating this class here, this would be a great weapon with only 2 attachments. However, we do want as many perks as we can get, so throw on the VLK 3x optic scope to make sure you can see during those longer gunfights, and the 60-round mag to keep up with them. Finally, we have the grip. There are 2 main grips you can use here, so you can choose. The Ranger foregrip and the Commando foregrip are so similar, it's difficult to decide which one to pick. They both have the pro of aiming stability, but the Ranger helps your recoil control, while the Commando benefits your recoil stabilization. If you want that 0 recoil, go ahead and pick up the Ranger foregrip. However, personally, I like to use the Commando foregrip because it doesn't lower your ADS speed, so you can use it during closer range gunfights if needed. After all that attachment talk, let's take a quick break, so comment down below what your answer is to the question of the day. What is your favorite spot to land in Warzone? Personally, my favorite is Storage Town. There are usually enough contracts to get you well on your way towards a loadout, as well as unique cover to make sure you're not taken out from an unforeseen opponent. I'm sure you're no stranger to our next weapon suggestion, the FFAR. This gun has basically replaced every single SMG in the game, but due to its recent ADS nerf, it'll be harder to aim down sights faster and get the accuracy you need. A fix for the nerf and a class we recommend is the Infantry Compensator 19.5 Reinforced Heavy Barrel, the Raider stock, the Serpent Wrap, and believe it or not, the 38-round Speed Mag. Before you disregard the class because it doesn't have an underbarrel or silencer, let's break down how it functions. The Infantry Compensator is there to help with your vertical recoil, and the barrel is going to benefit your bullet velocity and damage range. Of course, the stock is going to help you move fast and get your gun up before your opponents. The odd part about this class is a 38-round speed mag, but it is the perfect combination of pros and cons. With a 38-round speed mag, you're still getting extra bullets with a faster reload speed. Besides, the FFAR does enough damage and you'll be fine with 38 bullets. The final piece of the class is the rear grip, and this solely depends on your preference. Your two main options for your rear grip are the Serpent Wrap or the Jungle Grip. The pros for the Serpent Wrap are that your ADS time is going to be faster than the Jungle Grip. However, using the Jungle Grip will give you extra flinch resistance, which can help drastically in those close-up gunfights. Overall, this class has been adjusted drastically compared to the older versions of the FFAR. This loadout is meant to turn the FFAR into more of an SMG than it already was, so make sure to pair this class with a weapon that you can use in those medium to long range gunfights. The last weapon on the list for today is an SMG, the Bullfrog. It's the perfect SMG to take out an entire squad because it has such a large mag, but here are recommendations for attachments. Starting off with the muzzle, you're going to be using the GRU suppressor or the GRU suppressor. If you haven't noticed yet, most of the time you're going to want to pick the last muzzle on any class because they usually provide the best perks for your weapon. For the barrel, we chose the 7.4-inch Task Force to give you that extra damage range, bullet velocity, and strafe speed. This barrel will increase your recoil, but pair it with the VDV speed grip and you shouldn't have a problem with recoil. Put on the 65 round mag to give that extra boost of ammo, and lastly, use the KGB skeletal stock. This stock is going to boost your strafe speed, which should make it more difficult for your opponents to hit you while taking fire. That's going to do for today's video. If you want to stay in the loop with all things COD, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on the new features added to the game. Be sure to comment down below if you have any suggestions on COD topics you'd like us to break down. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.